Hey everyone, Jen here from WorkWondersCoaching.com. Did you know there are 3 areas where you need to have just a little bit of clarity before you can expect to be productive and achieve your goals? In today's mini workshop, I'm going to help you understand what those areas are and how you can achieve clarity in each of those 3 areas so that you can be more productive and achieve your goals. Let me know if any of these common obstacles sound familiar. I'm always starting things but never finishing. I keep putting off my own to-do list to help other people either with their lives or their own to-do list. I'm really good at research and planning, but I can't seem to make anything happen. I'm inefficient and chronically multitasking. I watch way too much Netflix or I'm on social media too much and I feel guilty about it afterwards. Family and caretaking responsibilities are burning me out. Work responsibilities are impeding my ability to get anything done once I leave the office. Here's the bad news. My guess is that you are experiencing at least one of these very common obstacles. But the good news is that these are common and people continue to achieve and be productive even when they're facing these obstacles. So today I want to offer a 3-step process that's going to help you sort of reset every time you start to feel like you've been a little bit derailed or like things aren't quite happening for you. We want to create a path forward. So this isn't a silver bullet, but this is an exercise that you can repeat when you need to. And trust me, you'll know when you need to. So here's the 3-step process that I use with clients. And we do this to get real clear on 3 different areas. So first, we want to get clear on the person's values and priorities. Do you know what matters? And this sounds like it should be really easy to know, but the truth is people really don't pay attention to the nuance or context in their life that evolves over time. So we're going to offer you some ways to really get at your values and priorities and better understand what needs to happen for you to have some more satisfaction with how you're spending your time and to make sure that your goals are ones that matter. Number 2 is goal clarity. Do you know what you want to accomplish? I bet you know when something doesn't feel quite right, but that's not the same thing as goal clarity. Goal clarity is knowing what you want to complete or what you want to pursue. It doesn't have to be perfectly clear. You could say, I want to spend more time being creative. That's a great start. A really good start would be, I want to be in my first art show. So that's the kind of clarity we want. We're going to start where you are, however clear you might want to be, and work on making sure that we know what we're working towards. Number 3 is task clarity. Do you know what you need to do next? If you don't know what you want to accomplish, you're not going to be in a good position to know what to do next. So we want to help you figure out what are the steps you actually need to take in order to achieve your goal. So value clarity. I have 3 questions here that I'm going to ask you to help get at what's really driving your desire for change and direction at this point. Number 1 is what's missing? Number 2 is what's your alternative vision for your work and life? Now these questions both ask what's going on for you? What is underneath your desire to even watch this video, this workshop at this point in time? What do you wish there were more of? And then the third question is how do you want to feel? A lot of times we think, oh, I don't have time to do X or I don't have time to do Y, my schedule is too full. And we don't pay enough attention to how creating even just a little bit of time for ourselves really makes us feel. It makes us show up maybe differently in relationships. Maybe we're a little bit less resentful when we're caretaking or spending time with other people because we know we've met our own needs and pursued things that we wanted to, took advantage of free time. And maybe we have more energy in the things that we have to do. Maybe we show up at work with a little bit more enthusiasm instead of feeling completely burned out because we know we've crossed something important off our to-do list today. If you're familiar with my work at all, you know that I love me some good journaling and reflection questions. I think there's tremendous insight that we already have that we don't make enough time to process and think about. So I'd love it if you went ahead and paused this video and answered these questions, and we'll use your answers a little bit down the line. All right, hopefully you've taken a moment to do some journaling, and now we can talk about item number 2, which is goal clarity. Goal clarity is about what do you want to accomplish. This is really important. And like I said, clarity is good, and the more clarity you have, the better. But certainty about something isn't a requirement. So if you just have a feeling that something is off and you were kind of wishing for more things in your life, Go ahead and think about what that might be. What do you want to accomplish, or what do you want to pursue? What would that look like for you if you had more of something? Just so that we can get a better picture of what that would actually be. Next, I want to know, what are you afraid of? What would happen if you spent more time pursuing this goal? Are you afraid that you are pursuing something that's frivolous? Are you afraid you're wasting your time? Are you afraid of wasting money? Afraid of what other people will think? Go ahead and think about that, because that can hold people back a lot. And of course, we want to know who can support you and hold you accountable. That's so important. It's very hard when you have tons of commitments and caretaking responsibilities to really pursue and pay attention to the things that you want to do. So we don't want you to have to do this alone. We want to make sure you have a community around you. Of course, you're probably familiar with the Making Life Work Facebook group that we host over, obviously, on Facebook, and you're welcome to join us, and we're happy to be those people for you. But perhaps you have other friends and colleagues who will support and hold you accountable as you really shift gears and try to spend more time working on your goals. And item number 3 is task clarity. So this is getting really specific on the things you need to do as they serve your goals. So what I find is that people are very busy, but they're not spending their time pursuing tasks and pursuing a to-do list that really aligns with their goals. So what are some of the things you'll need to do to accomplish your goals? What can you do this week? And what can you do this month? And I want you to go ahead and even take a look back at maybe some of the to-do lists you've completed, or think about the things that you've done in the last few days or weeks, and ask yourself, are they really adding up to a result that you're excited with, or are you sort of just being very reactive and doing things as you think you need to or as they come up? We want to make sure that your time is focused each week on things that move the needle for you. So what I do is I sit down on Sunday, I plan out my week, and I really look at my schedule and say, like, am I spending my time in a way that aligns with my goals? And honestly, the answer is not always yes. But what I have to do on those Sundays is think like, okay, this is a really busy week. I'm not getting a lot of me time to work on my stuff. What does my weekend look like, or what does next week look like? So I always want to be keeping an eye ahead to make sure that there's some balance. I also sit down every month to do this exercise. I check in on my values, I check in on my goals, and of course my tasks, because they change, things shift, and I need to be flexible. So it's really about being able to constantly reprioritize. So this exercise and these questions can definitely be repeated monthly and regularly, just to help hold you accountable and to check in with yourself. Here's the deal. When you're clear about what matters and what you want, you'll know what to do. And even if you only have 10 or 15 minutes a day, that's perfectly a good amount of time to get started. And you can figure out, what can I do in 15 minutes today to get started? What can I do in 15 minutes tomorrow and the day after that? And I think what you'll find is that spending time pursuing what matters to you means you'll actually have a lot more energy and show up very differently in different areas of your life. So here's what I want you to do for your next steps. Take a look at your journal of reflections from the questions that I've offered here, and notice, are there any patterns, anything you've learned, or anything that's come up for you that you didn't expect? What 2 or 3 areas of your life can be a focus right now? When will you revisit this? Remember, you can't do everything all at once, so just pick 2 or 3 areas where you can get started. Personally, I like to pick the low-hanging fruit. I like to make a difference right away, because that motivates me to keep going. So instead of focusing on a huge goal and trying to make a leap there, I'll say, what can I do that will really just make a difference by the end of the month? What are 2 or 3 ways you can get started this month? Or what are 2 or 3 things you can do next month? So think about, I call this using time as your ally. So we want to be proactive and think about using time in the future to plan and let our actions compound over time, instead of going in a burst and then, trailing off for days and weeks at a time. When and how will you evaluate your success? Like I said, I sit down every month, but I also keep a list of projects and goals in front of me, and I see it almost every day. So you can bet that halfway through the month, I will look and I'll see, oh wow, I'm really nowhere near that goal. And that's a good time for me to be honest with myself. Like, did I overpack my month? Which, by the way, I almost always do. Or is there still time for me to make some progress here? And I try to always make progress when I can, but it's difficult to keep my expectations in check. I struggle with that as well. And, things come up in a month, right? So I want to be flexible with myself and say, you know what, I'll make that a priority next month. But it also helps to keep what you've done in perspective. So make sure you're keeping track of the things that come up and what you've worked on instead. And they may not be on your to-do list and they may not be on your goal list, but they're definitely counting as work. And finally, who will you tell? Who will you talk to about this? Will you join the Facebook group? Will you have colleagues at work? Will you join a writing group? What kind of people will support your progress? Again, of course, you can do this on your own, but it's a lot more fun if you have people doing it with you. I hope you found this mini workshop helpful. I'm going to be creating a whole bunch more of these, so there will be more to come. And you can find me on the Making Life Work podcast that I co-host with my BFF, Jen O'Neill. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher. You can also join us on Facebook, Making Life Work Facebook group, where we love to talk about all things productivity and career related. And of course, you can join the Work Wonders community at workwonderscoaching.com, sign up for our emails, and keep in touch with us on the blog. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope these 3 areas give you some insight into how you can unlock potential productivity in your life. Talk to you soon.